Usually when I cook lamb shanks, I'm cooking it for a stew, but instead I'm going to be using the meat to make a beautiful Middle Eastern style salad. Now, to make this recipe quite quick, because it is a salad, I'm not going to slow cook these lamb shanks. What I'm going to do is pressure cook them. So instead of this taking 1.5 hours slowly cooking in the oven, it's going to take 30 minutes. So I'm going to season these gorgeous little lamb shanks. Look how small they are, lovely and tender, with some salt, a good crack of pepper, and just a small amount of oil. It doesn't need too much because you can see there's a generous amount of fat that's coating the meat. Now, you'd be surprised how much meat you get off one little lamb shank. 2 shanks are enough for 4 people for this salad. So just coat all of the shank with the oil. And now what I'm going to do is not seal them off. I'm just going to pop them straight in the cook for me and then cover it with some stock. Now you need to cover it so they stay moist throughout the cooking process. What I'm going to do is fry them afterwards. So kind of doing the opposite way, but I tell you what, it works because we're going to get a beautiful crunchy finish on the lamb shanks. So good old chicken stock works a treat for this. And I'll just add enough to cover the lamb shanks. So about 500 to 600 mils. Perfect. And now I'm going to close the lid and I'll just place this on the pressure cooker function. So we'll set it perfect. And then we'll immediate start, and that's it. We'll let the cook for me do its job. While that's happening, we can get onto the salad component of this, the vegetable side of things. I love pickled onion, particularly with a fatty meat like lamb. It just cuts through it and it works quite nicely together. So 1 onion I've cut in half, and I want them to be really thin. Onion can sometimes be a little bit pungent and quite harsh when it's raw, so pickling it is a great option and it's great for salads like this. So I want a generous handful of the onions. That's plenty. And now we'll pop them into a bowl. For a classic pickling combination, some sugar, so just good old classic caster sugar, and some sea salt. And the coarseness of the salt and the sugar is going to bring out the moisture in these onions. So get your hands in there and squish it together just to activate it and get it really soft. See how it's already starting to become really glossy? That's all the liquid coming out of it. Now this is where you can get adventurous with it and add different spices. I'm going to use sumac. It's a really beautiful type of spice. In fact, it's actually a berry that's grown on a wild bush that's dry. You can see it's gorgeous burgundy colour. It's got a tang to it, it's got a sweetness. It almost tastes like tomatoes, a concentrated flavour. So a sprinkle. And then again, we'll give that a quick mix. And now I'll add some vinegar. So just some good old white vinegar, or you can use some white wine vinegar, whatever you like. Just don't use balsamic vinegar for this because we want to keep that real fresh colour. We don't want it to go black. All right, that is done. In fact, that tastes already delicious, but we'll leave it for half an hour while our lamb shanks cook. Now we can get on to the rest of this. I'm going to pick some herbs. I've got some gorgeous mint. Look how fresh this is. Smells amazing. We need to pick off all the leaves. This is going to be the basis of the salad, the lettuce if you like. But when you're picking leaves, particularly when it comes to mint, you don't want any of the stalk. So take your time doing this and just pick off each individual leaf. It'll just make a difference to the final presentation of it, as opposed to just grabbing it and ripping it like that. You'll bruise those beautiful leaves. All right, I'm going to continue picking all these gorgeous little leaves off the mint, and then we'll wait for the lamb shanks to finish cooking. Now the lamb shanks are completely cooked. What I did is I've taken them out of the bowl and I've also taken the stock out. Now don't waste this stock. If you leave this in the fridge overnight, what will happen is a lot of the fat will come to the surface and solidify. All you need to do is scrape that off, and you can reuse it for a stew or use it in a soup. It's got loads of flavour. I've also cleaned out the bowl of the cook for me and started to seal off my lamb so we get that gorgeous crust, and that only takes a few minutes. I'm going to use a spoon to take them out because they're so soft. I don't want them to break up too much. And you can see the colour. Look how golden they are now. That is going to be so yummy. I'll take the second one out. Have a look at that side there. See how caramelized that is? So we're going to get that real soft, almost butter-like texture from the inside, and then all of a sudden we'll get these lovely crunchy bits on the outside. Just perfect. All right, we'll let them cool for a moment. Let's get this salad completed now. So in a bowl, I'll add all of my gorgeous freshly picked herbs. I've placed them in a bowl of cold water, even with a little bit of ice. And I find this is a great way to keep them really perky, if you like, and really crisp. So I'll just drain off any excess water and we'll place them in the bowl. You're just going to get that lovely crunch that we're looking for with these leaves. Now for our gorgeous pickled onions. Look how soft they are. And you can see that pickling agent has transformed. It's that gorgeous light pink colour. I'm actually going to use some of that in this for the dressing. So just break up the onions and use your hands to separate them and mix them in with the leaves a little more. Look at that colour contrast, fantastic. And now we'll add some of that vinegar. And now for some cheese. Good old feta works a treat. So we'll just break that and then crumble it in, just so we've got little speckles of that feta. For some crunch, some almonds. These are just blanched almonds and I've toasted them. We'll add them whole. And again, giving that a toss. I like to just get my hands in this and just gently do it. Great. Now I'm going to add a small amount of this lamb to our salad. Look how this just falls off the bone. That, for me, is heaven. It just is so tender. So it's still warm. This is a warm salad, but just break it up into small pieces. I like to add some to the salad, and then the rest I'm going to add to the plate. So you get a double whammy of lamb shanks. So just shredding that with your fingers, and then again, tossing that through. Now we'll finally dress this with a small amount of extra virgin olive oil, drizzle that over, and a hint of freshly cracked pepper. All right, let's plate this up. Bright blue plate, some yogurt, just for some extra sauce. I'm just going to spread that into the bowl, and we'll grab a nice mound of this salad, pop that on the top, and then last but not least, another generous chunk of this beautiful lamb shank. I'm pretty hungry today, so I'm going to add a generous chunk of it right there. Whew, that looks so good. Now it just needs a little pop of colour, so I'll add a small amount of that sumac and just sprinkle that over the top. That really just ties everything in together. That is such a gorgeous salad. It's not your average garden salad. It's got everything you love in there. Crunchiness from those almonds, saltiness from the cheese, and lamb shank. Who doesn't love lamb shank? It's a great way to change it up and really freshen up lamb shanks by doing a lovely light salad just like this.